Hi everyone. Today in this video we are going to cover a very interesting topic, and our today's topic is how we can create different AWS Lambda functions using different technologies and how they will get triggered using different events. All these things we are going to cover and implement in this video. And this is all what we are going to cover in this video. First we will create one AWS Lambda function. Now in our scenario, as we are going to use different technologies, we need to create two AWS Lambda functions, one using the Python and one using the Java. Once that is done, we need some source to which will generate the event. Source, what is the source? So from the source it will originate the event, and that event, on that basis the Lambda function will get called. Now what is the source? We can use the S3 bucket, API gateway, or these are some different sources we can use. Now in our scenario we are going to use S3 bucket. What is the purpose of S3 bucket? We can store object, files and folders, everything we can store inside this S3 bucket. S3 bucket, how we can create that? We can create this S3 bucket using one more AWS service, which is AWS S3. So this way we are going to use two different AWS services. One is the AWS Lambda function and another is AWS S3. Now to establish the communication in between these two, we need some triggers. What the triggers will do? Triggers are nothing but we are going to mention on what action which Lambda function is going to get invoked. So for that we need to add the triggers. We can add, for example, upload trigger. If we when we upload any file to the bucket, that upload trigger will get generated, and that will get sent to the AWS Lambda function, and accordingly that AWS Lambda function will get called. So in this scenario, once we upload a file to the S3 bucket, then it will trigger the upload event, and that event will get sent to the AWS Lambda function, which is written using the Python. So in short, Python Lambda function will get called. Whatever code is there in that Lambda function will get called. So this is the one scenario. Similar way, once we delete any file from the S3 bucket, it will trigger the delete event, and accordingly for that delete event the Java Lambda function will get called. So this is the whole scenario we are going to cover in this video. And this is what all AWS services you will learn in this video. AWS Lambda to create a serverless compute using Python and Java language, AWS S3 bucket to store object or file, and CloudWatch to see log and metrics. All these AWS services you will learn in this video. So before we go ahead, please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. Now let us first create our simple Python project. For that we can create one new folder inside this AWS. We can create one folder with name. We can say Lambda, Python and Java. So this is the folder wherein we want to create our Python code. Now let me open the command prompt. We can type cmd, and from here we can open the Visual Studio Code using this command code space dot. Now this is the Visual Studio. Now we can go to the terminal. This is the terminal, and from here, so if you want to add some file to this project or folder, we can simply add this new file. This is the plus button, and we can give our file name. For example, we can give some file name like welcome_fun.py, including the Python extension, and we can open the file by double clicking on that, and here we can add the code which is needed. So first we can import our JSON. Next we can define our handler, which is welcome_handler. And inside that we can add our event and context, which is needed for our AWS Lambda function. And inside that we can add some message to print. We can add a message inside a single quote, or what message we want to print, like your file is successfully uploaded. So post successful updation, it should show the message like your file is successfully uploaded and thanks. That's it. Next, we can print this message. Now we can save this, and we need to return to return this with some code. We can add status code, which is for success. We can add 200, and here we can add some body if we want, and we can use json.dumps, inside which we can add our body welcome to. We can add some string like welcome to Python word, or we can say it's a greeting from Python word. That's it. We can save it. So this is the code we have written. Now let us try to run this code. Now for that, we can see on the right hand side, we can see this is the Python run file is there. If you don't find this, so you can simply press Ctrl+Shift+P and select the Python interpreter, and it will ask for the Python interpreter. You can select this, and then it will show this option. Now you can click on this run Python file to run this. Now it is showing, this is the terminal, but it is not showing any output as such. We can see it is not showing. I hope it is visible. Fine. Now it is not showing any output because we need to add here, like we need to add one block for local testing. So let us add that. We can add like if name is equal to, it's a double equal to, and inside that we can add our main and colon, inside which we need to add some fake event. We can say it's an AWS Lambda. It's a Lambda event and contest. So we need to pass these two. So for that we can create, like we can say sample event, and we can use some empty bracket we can add, and similar way we can add sample contest, and we can create this. That's it. We can save it. Now we need to create one response which will show. For that we can say we are going to call our welcome handler, which is the method we have defined it here, and inside that welcome handler we need to pass our sample event and sample contest. These two we need to pass. And finally we need to print our response. For that we can simply say here inside double quote we can say it is the response, and as a response we can add it here, which is our actual response. That's it. We can save it. Now we have created one complete Python program which will print the message as well as it will print some response it here. Now let us save this file by using Ctrl+S, and let us run it again and check. Seems good. Now it is showing the output. So this is the output. You can see it is showing this is your file is successfully uploaded, thanks, and this is the response along with status and all. So our simple Java Python program is running fine on our locally. Now let us see how we can zip it so that we can use that on our AWS Lambda side. So we can use the command like this is the, let us first clear this so that it is visible to you. Now we can use the command which is now we are preparing a zip file out of it. So for that, this is the command we can use, compress archive, and we can add hyphen path, and what is our Python file, which is welcome fun.py, and what is the destination for this one. So we need to add destination path as an the zip file name we need to add. So let's say it's a welcome fun.zip, and we can press the enter. Now we can see the zip is created successfully for us. With this, we have successfully created our Python program which we can use for AWS Lambda function. Now let us create one simple Java program which we can deploy or upload inside our AWS Lambda function, which will get triggered when we delete any file from our S3 bucket. Now let us copy this path, and let us open the Spring Tool Suite, which is an editor, to create the Java project. You can use Visual Studio Code as well to create a Java project. So we can use the Spring Tool Suite for now. And here you can select the second option, create a Maven project, because we are going to create a simple Java project, and we can click on next, and here we can give our group ID as an, let's say, com.lambda delete, and here we can give some artifact ID. So we can say it's an lambda delete file delete, or we can say lambda Java function. That's it, and we can simply click on finish button. Now we have our application, Java application. So now we need to do we need to add some code inside this because we want to execute this code inside our Lambda function. So we need to add some dependency for this. So let me open the pom.xml file here. Now this is our pom.xml file, and just to remove this error, we can add HTTPS at the place of HTTP, and we can save it. Now let me add the AWS dependency. This is the AWS dependency we need to add. So this is the dependency, which is com.amazon AWS, and this is our AWS Lambda Java core we need to add along with the version. Next thing, we can create one package inside that, and our package name is like com.lambda delete, and inside that we can create our class name, which is AWS Lambda delete function with Java. So this is the class name we can create, and this is the package, and this is the class name. Now let me add some code here, like this is the code we need to add. So this is our package, we can save it. So this is our package, and these are some AWS dependency for contest and request handler, and these are some usual imports for array list, list and map, and this is our class which we are going to use, and it implements request handler which takes as an map and string, and this is the handle request which will get executed inside our Lambda function, and it will take event and contest as an argument, and this is the message which we want to display, file object is successfully deleted, and this is the first key value. We are taking the key set from the event, and these are the list of keys, and from this we can take the first key and we are trying to print it here, and this is the message we want to display inside the console. So once we print this, it will show inside our log file. And this is what the code, simple Java program we have written, which we want to upload inside our AWS Lambda function. Now we need to create a jar out of it, so we can save it, and here we can simply right click on this project folder and run as maven install. We can use this command so that it will build our project and it will create a jar. So we can see it has created a successful jar. Where we can find that? We can find that inside this target folder. Seems good. Now we have our jar ready, and even the Python program we have completed. Now we just need to create two Lambda functions on the Lambda on AWS side, and we need to upload all this code and test our scenarios. Now so far we have successfully created two programs, one for Python and one for Java. Now we will create two AWS Lambda function, one for Python and one for Java, wherein we can deploy our programs. Now for that, first you need to log in to your AWS console. So this is the AWS console wherein you need to log in first. Now here you can search for the Lambda, which is the AWS service we are interested in. So if you can click on this Lambda, and here you will find create a function. You can click on this, and here it will show you the create function, how you can go for. Choose one of the option to create your function, and this is the author from scratch. This is use a blueprint and container image. If you have any existing image, you can go with this option, and this is for blueprint. We can go with the author from scratch, which is the default one, and here we can create our function name. So we can say this is for file upload, so we can say Python, or we can say file upload Python function. So this is the function name we can give, and here we need to choose the runtime. Now this is related to the Python, so we need to select the appropriate runtime which is related to the Python. And architecture, this is by default which is selected, we can keep as is, and finally we can simply click on create function button. Now it will create one AWS Lambda function for this Python language. Now it has created the Lambda function. We can close this for now, and this is the Lambda function using Python we have created. Now let us see how we can deploy our Python code at here. Now you can see this is the code, and here is the sample code which we can go with, but we have created our custom file or custom project. So let us go to down here. You can see this is the runtime setting wherein you can click on, or here inside code you can see this is the upload from option. You need to click on this because we want to upload a zip file, so we can simply click on zip folder. Now you can click on upload folder and go to your project path where you have created your Python project, and this is the AWS, and this is your zip file which you have created. Now you can save this to upload it. Now we have successfully updated the function with this file, and we can see here now our function which we have created. Seems good. Now we can deploy it so that it will be available inside our Lambda function. Now we need to do one more thing, like here you can see this is the runtime setting, and this is the handler we need to edit, and we need to give our appropriate what function we are using and all. So this is so if you open our function, so this is the welcome function.py. So we need to add our file which is welcome and here this is the function we have created. This is our file name, welcome fun fun, and inside that we have welcome handler. So same handler we need to pass it here. Instead of lambda handler we can use our welcome handler, and we can save it. Seems good. We have successfully uploaded our code, and we have edited our handler as well as per our Python file and the handler which we have mentioned inside that. Now this is done. Now we can deploy it so that it will reflect our latest code. Now let us go to our, we can open one more tab, and here now we need to create our S3 bucket. So we can search for S3, and this is the S3 bucket, and it is an option create a bucket, and here this is the AWS region we have selected, and for creating a bucket we can select the bucket type. It can be general purpose or directory, so we can go with the general purpose as a default one, which is a recommended one, and here we can give some bucket name. Now for creating two for AWS Lambda functions, which we are going to create two, but the bucket we are going to use only single bucket. So we can give a name like it is AWS bucket file storage. Okay, so this is the AWS bucket for file storage. This is the bucket name we can give. If you have any existing bucket, you can select this choose bucket option and locate to that bucket. Now next we have object ownership. This is the ACL disabled recommended. If we have owned the account of this bucket, then we should go for this one. All objects in this bucket are owned by this account, and access to this bucket and its object is specified using only policies. So we can go with this option, which is a default one, and you can check what for you can use this option. But for now this is enough for our requirement, and we can uncheck this block called public access because we want to access our bucket. So we need to uncheck this option. And we can check this acknowledgement button, which is necessary for turning off block all public access might result in this one. Okay, so we need to check this option. Finally we can click on create bucket. So it will successfully create one bucket for us. Now here it is showing bucket name contains invalid characters, so instead of underscore we can give the hyphen and go back again and click on create bucket. Seems good. We have successfully created one bucket, and this is our bucket. Now if we click on this, like we can see there is no code, no file, no object as of now, so it's an empty bucket. Now we have successfully created one function for Python. Similar way we can create one more function for our Java, and finally we can test for both the scenarios, or if you want we can test this scenario as well. So let us test it so that we can ensure that everything is working fine. Now let me upload some file from here to S3 bucket. So before we upload, we need to make sure that we have created a trigger for that. So we need to add a trigger, and here, so basically we can use the trigger to establish the communication in between the our AWS function, Lambda function, and our S3 bucket. So this is the add trigger, and here we can select the source. What is the source for our trigger, which is S3 bucket. We can select this source, and here we can select our bucket. This is the bucket we have just created, and here you need to give the event. So when this trigger will get active whenever we upload any file or delete any file, that we need to mention. So we can select all object create event for now, because on upload it should trigger that event. Now rest we can keep as is, and here we can select this option for recursive invocation. Here it is mentioning that like function write objects to an S3 bucket, like ensure that you are using different S3 bucket for input and output. So for input and output functionality, we should use a different S3 bucket. It is showing, it is recommending, because it may result into the recursive invocations. Our case is different because we are going to create different event, though the bucket is same, but we are triggering the lambda function based on different event. One is the create event and other is the delete event. So we can simply click on add button. Now we have created the trigger. That's it. Now everything is in place to test our lambda function using Python. So we can simply go to S3 bucket it here and we can upload one file to test it. So here it will take you to the another page wherein you can click on add file and you can go to the particular file where you have created. So you can take any image to upload. So this is the image we want to upload. We can select it and click on upload. Now we can see it has successfully uploaded. We can close it and this is the file which is uploaded. Now let us see how we can check now whether it has successfully triggered or not. So for that you can go to the lambda function and here you can see this is the monitor section in which it will show us the CloudWatch metrics. So it will show you everything related to the metrics. Here is the count 1, duration and all these things are there, and these are some CloudWatch logs. It will show it here. So it will take some time to reflect it here, but meanwhile we can check. We can click on this view CloudWatch log, which will open one new tab, and from here we can check the logs. Now we can see it has generated one log for us because we have uploaded one file, and I think the lambda function event is triggered on upload and it is showing the file. Now we can see it has successfully executed our code which is there inside our Python project. And if we check, this is the same file, like your file is successfully uploaded and thanks. This is the same message it is giving. That means our lambda function is successfully executed our Python code which is there, and it has triggered on upload file. Seems good. Now let us check by creating one more function for our Java program which will get triggered when we delete any file from the S3 bucket. So we can once again go to type the S3 at here so that it will show the S3 option, and here we can click on create bucket, and here we can see this is the region and bucket type we can keep as is general purpose, and here we can give some here it's not the create bucket. So basically we need to create one more function because bucket we are using the same one. So we need to go to search for the function. Here we can use lambda function. Yes, because we are going to create two different lambda function, one for Python which we have created. Now we will create one for Java. So this is the create function option. We can use the default one, author from scratch, and here we can give some particular name. Now this is on delete event, and we can say this is the lambda function using Java. So we need to use hyphen lambda delete function using Java. Okay. So this is the function name, and here we need to select the appropriate runtime. So we can select the Java 17 or 21, and we can click on create function. Now it will basically create one more function with Java runtime. It is taking a time. Okay, fine. So now we can see it has created our lambda delete function with Java. Seems good. Now this is the function. Now if we go inside function, we have two functions, whereas we are using only S3 bucket, which is the single bucket we are using for this. Now this is our Java function, so we need to do some changes at here because this is the code section. Okay. Now here we need to upload our jar. So let us go to select this option and select the upload option, and let us go to our project where we have created our lambda function using Java. So this is the Java function, and this is the target folder, and this is the lambda function. We can select and we can save it. So let us check where it is exactly. So this is the Java function which is inside project AWS. Seems good. Now we can save it. We have uploaded it. Successfully updated the function. Seems good. Now if we check it here, runtime setting. So inside code we have uploaded our jar using this upload from. Now one more thing we need to do, we need to change this handler. This is the default handler, but we need to add as per our coding packages and the class name. So this is the package name which we are going to use. We can copy it and we need to add it this place. And what is our class name? So this is the Java class name. We need to add it here, and inside that we need to make sure it has the handle request. It should be the same with the what we have mentioned it here, and finally we can save it. Now everything is in sync. Now let us test everything from scratch. Like first we will upload one file. It should trigger the lambda function written in the Python for upload event, and next we will delete the file from the same S3 bucket. Now this time it should trigger the Java AWS Lambda function which we have written in Java. Fine. Now let us go to S3 bucket. So before we go there, we can check how many logs we have. So we have only one log. We can refresh it. Now once we upload a file, it will create one more log, and once we delete, it will create one more log. So we will have three logs at here because one is already at here. Okay, or else we can delete this just to confirm. Okay, fine. Now we have deleted all the logs. Now we can add one upload. We can upload one file, so it will create one log, and next we can delete the file. Then it will create one more log. So we will have two logs at here. Now let us go and upload. We have already one file uploaded. Now let us upload one more file. We can add file, and let us go to our exact folder where we have images. Now I will select this second file to upload, and we can click on upload button. Seems good. Now we have successfully uploaded our second file, JPG file. Now let us go back at here at our CloudWatch and check whether it has generated any log. Yes, it has created one log. Now let me hit the log, check the log. So your file is successfully uploaded. So this AWS Lambda function is successfully executed, which we have written using Python. Now next thing, let us delete the one file so that our AWS Lambda function using Java will get executed. So let me delete the file, second file. For that we can simply click on delete. And here we need to confirm whether we want to really delete this file by adding this permanently delete and delete button. We can click on. Now it has successfully deleted our file, second file, and it should create one more log file because it should have executed the lambda function which we have which we have created using Java. So now we have only one file. Okay, so we have created the Java function, but we have not added any trigger to this. So we need to add a trigger, so which was missing. Now here we can select the source S3. This is the source, and here we can select the bucket. The same for the two. We are using only bucket for all this. Now here we need to make sure that we need to select different event, because this event we have already used for upload function, create event. Now let us use this delete event for Java functionality. So we can select the delete event here, and here we can select this option as we have discussed earlier. Seems good. We can keep everything as is, and we can click on add. Now it has created our delete functionality event. So it has created a trigger which will basically created or which will get executed on delete functionality on delete event. Okay. Now let us go back to our AWS bucket. Now let me clear everything from here. This is the log, so that we can make a fresh start, and let me upload one file from scratch. So here we can simply click on upload file, add file, and here we can add the second file, and we can select this file and we can upload it. Now this time it should have executed our Python Lambda function. Now let us go and check the logs again. Seems good. Now it has generated one log file, and this is successfully uploaded. This is the message which is given in our Python Lambda function. Seems good. It is working. Now let us go back at our S3 bucket and check. Let me close this. Now we have two files. Let me delete one file so that our Java Lambda function will get executed. So I will simply click on delete, and here we need to add permanent delete, and we can select delete object. Seems good. We have successfully deleted object from the S3 bucket. Now this time if we refresh this log, which is for AWS Lambda delete function, so it should show the message in the log. So we can click on this log file, and here you can see it is showing the message file object is successfully deleted. Seems good. That means our AWS Lambda function using Java is successfully executed. So in this whole scenario, like on file upload, we have successfully triggered our AWS Lambda function using Python, and on successful deletion of file, we have successfully executed our AWS Lambda function using Java. So as we have committed before we start this video, we have done everything, all the scenarios we have covered. I hope you must have enjoyed this. Please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for watching this.